didn't see you there. Huh. My name's Sean, or Kyus, as I'm also known by, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make arrows. Now, obviously there's going to be people out there who may beg to differ on their quality or my quality of arrows. This is just a basic on how to get you by. I've managed to make arrows like this one here that has lasted 6 years. This bad boy has lasted 6 years. Same technique that I've always used. That technique I'm going to be teaching you guys today. Pardon the background noise. We've got some family over. Anyway, I'm going to tip the camera down here so that you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to explain as I go. So what I'm doing right now is just pre-measuring the slugs that are going to be going on top of the arrow. As you can see, there's obviously layers of hard closed cell padding. What I'm using is puzzle mat. Another way of putting it is floor matting that you can get at your local hardware store. If you're in Canada, Home Hardware sells it, as well as Canadian Tire, and Walmart, pretty much across North America, sells it as well. I'm going to be using also yoga mat. It's a different kind of yoga mat, mind you. I got it in a big bundle of like 10 feet by 10 feet. Anyway, so what I'm doing right now is just pre-measuring slugs by using the inside of a roll of tape. You'll come to learn that the inside of a roll of plastic tape, Scotch tape as some people know it, or packing tape actually. The inside of here actually measures exactly 3 inches across. The minimum that we need is 2.5. The 3 inches gives us the perfect amount of space to be able to attach it to the arrow and then torque it down to the arrow to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. So like I said, I'm pre-measuring slugs just by using a pen and the inside of the tape roll. The most dangerous part. Very, very sharp knife. I've cut myself on many occasions. Be careful when you guys are doing this. There we are. So, applying equal pressure as you go around. That way you don't accidentally punch through and cut on a diagonal line, which can often ruin slugs and, ruin 5 minutes of extra work that you've put in. And also cutting evenly also makes sure that the blade is straight up and down instead of angled. Now, nobody's perfect, trust me. I've messed up many, many times, but anyway, back to work. I was in the attempt to prep these, but I decided to jump in on this class before I was fully prepped, so excuse the delay. So every arrow, you're going to need to have 2 of these slugs, plus a layer of the open cell foam, so the yoga mat. Once I'm done prepping this, I'll actually go to the arrow shaft and I'll show you how I prep the arrow shaft to make sure that the end does not have any kind of sharp, pointy tip, because pointy tips in soft, squishy bits are not a good combination in Amtgard. Come on, give me the... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go to the arrow first. So, there we go. So what I'm doing is that I'm taking the bare bone shaft, as you can see here. I'm just taking the bare bone shaft. I also have an insert in here which actually helps the carbon fiber from not collapsing in on itself after wrapping it with about 24 rolls of tape. If you have that insert, it'll greatly help with the strength of the tip itself after you have the penny on, or in some cases people also use a washer and a screw that's screwed into the insert as well. Either way works.
Jody, can you tell Dominic to go put pajamas on, please?
Using just the tape and penny. So, this is probably one of the most tedious parts. Wrapping the tape around. Now, I'm using electrical tape right now because it's honestly the only thing that I had available. But more often than not, I'll actually use fabric tape, or hockey tape as it's also called by in other places. What you want to do is you want to wrap it to just past the width of the penny. That way the penny rests evenly on the tip itself, and it's less likely to wander around on the tip after you actually attach it. That way you don't have to worry about the penny blowing through any of the foam. I like to have the tape overlap the actual tip itself. Alright, let's check and see. Almost. So 6, 7 more rolls. Wraps, not rolls. My apologies. It's been a long day, and I'm already suffering from a turkey coma.
What?
There we go. That should do.
Did I? No, since I wasn't the one bringing it in.
So.
But it might be.
It's a good size. And it adds a little bit of extra weight to the end of the arrow. That's another.
You're welcome to grab the keys and go look.
Fabric tape tends to not add as much weight as, let's say, rubber.
Driver's side door is.
Anyway,
The driver's side door is.
tape will do the job anyway. Alright, so now we've got the penny. I'm just going to be attaching a piece
Are they not on the hook?
across said penny.
Oh, then they're clipped on my purse in the bedroom, hanging in the closet.
Why are you recording it?
Because the other software didn't work.
Why?
I don't know. But I don't have time to figure it out right now. I will figure it out in a minute. Like after the class. Let me record him and then I will figure it out.
By using another piece of tape just to attach it in place. There we go. Now it's got. So you can see the penny is now attached to the tip of the arrow itself. Now I'm just gonna torque it down by adding a couple other layers of tape to it. Excuse me. Diagonal to the other layers, just to try to ensure that the penny doesn't move around. And I have no movement, so no movement whatsoever. It's attached on there nice and firm. It's not going to be going anywhere. There we go. So I'm going to finish cutting these slugs. As you can see, it's a perfect 3-inch diameter from side to side. It's a closed cell phone, which helps you reach the minimum requirements over the tip of the phone, of which I'm going to be explaining a little bit later on once I get it built a little bit further. In the meantime, I'm going to finish building these slugs, cutting these slugs, I should say. In the meantime, I'm actually going to measure this just to make sure, because triple checking just to ensure that it is the appropriate width that you're going to need. Now, with the cut, I lost 1/10 of an inch, so that's why you always need to make sure to measure 3-4 times before you actually try and build it. Otherwise, you're going to end up with an arrow tip that is too small, which could seriously hurt someone. But this is good. Alright, so I'm going to cut out the other one. Bear with me a moment. firmly attached to the tip of your arrow, and you have tape built up around there. That way you don't have to worry about the penny falling either which way, whether it fall down or fall over. Either which way, it's firmly attached there, and with that built-up tape, the penny's not going to be going anywhere, obviously. Now, from there, we get ourselves some full noodle, just regular old full noodle, which has the hole in it on the inside. I just have a length here that I got from a friend of mine. Which is thankfully exactly 2.55 of an inch across. This doesn't give us much room to breathe, but we can build up from it by adding additional wrapping of the yoga mat around the outside just to build it up and strengthen it. So the way that I do this is that I build up, I cut a piece about 6 inches long. Actually, let's make that about 5 inches long. Is what I normally do 6, but I'm going to cut it down to about 5.5 actually. Just mark it here. There we go. Alright, give her a cut. Again, be careful not to slice your hand open with the blade. I know I'm not exactly doing the greatest of jobs here, but there we go. There we go. So, again, about 5.5 inches long. It seems like a lot, but a lot of this, from about here down, is actually going to be getting shaved down on an angle. So, from here and here, shaved down towards the actual shaft itself to give you more of the streamlined appearance of right here. And being able to do that, you can then mark it off for the 28-inch mark. That way, when you draw, you're always drawing to 28 inches and never past that, as that is the legal requirement in Amtgard. Now, from here, obviously, putting it on your shaft, that's what she said. You just feed your shaft through, the tip. Okay. So you can see the tip here. Now, you don't actually want that overhanging. You want to push that back in about another inch, 2 inches, about 1.5 inches actually. As you can see. Barely, but you can see it. I haven't pushed it there. Now, from the puzzle mat, as you can see, has the edges that help you interlock the actual mat itself. Well, those edges, I actually cut them off to get little tiny pieces that will fit perfectly on the inside of the noodle itself to help you build up the necessary distance from the tip to the end of the actual arrow itself. So from there, you might actually have to trim just a little bit. Here, let's move this out of the way. There we are. So just trim the corners to make it a little bit more circular. There we are. There we go. Okay. Now it should be able to fit on the inside of the actual noodle itself. Stuff it in there. That way you have the closed cell foam over top of the tip to help generate the full distance from the tip of the arrow to the tip of the foam padding. Each layer of this is just shy of 1 inch thick. Adding 2 of these plus 2 layers on the tip will equal out to about 3.5 inches over the tip itself. I believe that the minimum requirement is 2.5 inches off the tip. There. So we'll build up another one here, just to add another layer. Extra safety, my friends. Extra safety.
Jody, I have my sound off. What?
Stuff it in there. Nice and good. So,
Good.
see? Flat, streamlined. And then from there, we add on the 2 additional pieces on here by adding tape. Now, bear with me, the next part is probably going to be quite long, but I'm going to do my absolute best here. Give yourself enough leeway to be able to feed down around the actual arrow head itself. So just attach them together. Try and make them nice and snug. There we go. From there, again, measure. Always gotta measure. So, what do we got? We have 2 inches, 2 7/8 of an inch across. From there, we're going to be adding an additional layer of the yoga mat to make sure that it's still above the 3 inches. You don't, the further away that you get from the 2.5, you'll lose a lot of velocity, but it's also much safer, correct? But the closer that you bring it to the 2.5, you're gaining in velocity, but you're also rising in the danger factor. The way that I like to do it is bringing it up to about 2.75, 3 inches at the most with the additional layer of the yoga mat. It'll bring it up to 3 inches. So, we got the puck. Now, we add it to the actual noodle itself on the shaft. Now again, bear with me. Gwen Stefani.